So close, Josh. Yeah, I guess it makes more sense to roll. I was going to say on 2d20s. But like, then I was like, no, you actually have better odds of rolling a 420 with d10s, don't you?
So that's 26.
Josh, no.
7.
No, Josh.
Would you like to hit the booth, Josh?
No.
All right,
Famously now.
we've gotten that question out of the day.
I love that, like, every time I try Wizard's Tower, I don't know why, and it's always this, like, doodly-doo, and I'm like, where's the tension? Like, we're not in fairyland. Jesus.
I've wanted to use the RuneScape soundtrack for a D&D campaign background.
Sea Shanty 2.
Where is my shrimpina?
Jesus Christ. It would be a shrimp, wouldn't it? Oh my god, you're right. I really dropped the ball on this.
We've showed you that episode of Smiling Friends, right?
Where is Shrimpina?
I think the only Smiley Friends episode I saw was the one where the guy had a gun to his head the whole time.
The best one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
The worst part is I fucking love Smiling Friends, but I can't tell most people to watch it in good conscience.
I love how you have shows like that, man.
Alright, so we gotta watch the D&D episode of Community after this, and then we have to watch the Shrimpina episode of Smiling Friends.
Yeah. Then we gotta watch Soup Nazi from Seinfeld. That's the only way to get the full lore of our universe.
Oh, Georgie, can you...
That's not the fucking...
Wait, it's
Also, you really are making it sound like he's plowing his mother in that one.
So, is the Soup Nazi like the Amalekai's father or something?
Oh God, Josh! I wish I had your brilliance. One of my favorite things about the whole watching Seinfeld with Thomas is he's like, it's weird we haven't bumped into the Soup Nazi yet. Like he thought he was like a recurring character. I was like, no, he just shows up in that one episode.
2, the very end.
I did mention that a lot of recurring people show up at the end and he is in that, but other than that, he's not.
Yeah.
That's how.
It's just amazing he was.
Just like
I
every
told
New
you,
Yorker...
he was based off of a real guy.
Yeah.
And he actually sued.
Yep.
Not because he was upset at his portrayal.
Yep.
It's because he didn't get more business.
Yeah, because it didn't work.
Yeah, and then it was just like, I thought I was really going to get a boom from this.
Yeah.
I got my publicist so that I'd get money out of this. And they're like, no. No, did you watch the episode? But you can actually get his soup at Publix. There's like a fucking... Anytime you see soup and there's like a guy like this and it's like Soup Man. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
That's him. That's the real life Soup Nazi. He's like, he wants to go on and be like, I'm the guy. And they're like, the Soup Nazi?
Soup authoritarian.
He's like, is this who you want to be?
I mean, I
get
don't
it.
see a problem with
He
that.
suffers for his soup.
It's like that one Turkish
He
guy, like his
suffers
whole
for
thing is just...
what Kramer said.
Yeah.
You're a slave to your art. I get it. He's like, a slave. I suffer for my people. And it was just like, God, what is it? And immediately the guy speaks Spanish to him. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were Spanish. And he was like, adios! Oh. All right. Actually, since it's the Chakern's Tower, we're actually getting into the thick of it. We got more harder trials and tribulations to go through. I'm going to need to collect some of the things that I'm going to perhaps need.
Don't pay attention, it's a fucking trick.
Can you hand me the Cthulhu and the Pit Fiend, please? Thomas is just like, he's lying, it's a bluff.
Kazulu can't show up.
Kazubu?
Kazubu can't show up. We have a guy.
I need to grab a few things. Josh, can you get me 100 D4s, please?
Oh, you just say $100? No way, it's a bluff. Don't let it get in your head, Josh.
That's 100.
100 D4s?
No, I need 100 D4s.
I know. I got like 21.
I'm gonna need 100 D4s.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that could be maximum 400 damage.
He's a big boy.
I'll take it.
There's no way that you get the maximum, Josh.
Alright, we just mail a bomb to the Praetorians.
Need that.
Yeah.
Are you going to need...
What are you like?
This looks good.
Throwing bones? Like, yes.
Are you going to need King Ghidorah as well?
Ooh. Maybe, actually.
But we could have Godzilla, right?
No. You guys have had a long rest recently, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're good. I'm gonna need the Star Wars helmet for sure. Oh, by the way,
Are you going to need Marnie?
hey buddy, fuck you. This is mine.
What?
I found it in your little cubby hole. It's mine. You have your own jail, guys.
I'm sorry.
This one is mine.
No,
I
Marnie.
see you snealing in and stealing my shit. I will need
Me putting these...
These were mine. These have always been mine, Alex. No, I will need the dragon though. Congratulations on passing it without destroying it.
Do you need Marnie? Marnie? Cause you got her. Ugh. I know.
I destroyed it.
I know.
Josh, how are we looking on 100 D4s?
I mean, like, I could go
How many D4s do you think are in
to
Marnie's
go
stomach?
buy some right now, but I
No,
think
no.
I have to wait till tomorrow when they open up.
How many D4s do you have in your stomach right now, Marnie? 100?
Make it D6s. I know we have 100 of those.
I hope. How many are in the cube?
It's 9,
Like
18, 27, 36. So 36,
Yeah.
72 plus
Yeah.
those, 100%. And then I'll just subtract. No, I'm just going to keep it. Alright, well, last we left off,
I know.
the boys done fucked up. And instead of spending their last hours with their family, friends, loved ones, instead they were like, you know what we're gonna do? Let's see if Shakurn's got any answers, because you know what? That's just a nugget we haven't undid in our head yet. Like, what's going on there? Answers are left behind. Are they the answers that they seek? We'll find out. Well, they are a powerful authority. I think the best thing I can do now is remind them to ask, consideration for what you want to ask. Don't put it in concepts of, like, things that they should know. Like, for instance, like, hey, how would we defeat this guy you wouldn't know about? You know?
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, how would we do this? Like you did, you know. As well as explore other things, because remember, there's... What did you just do?
I was trying to pick up the giant eagle.
What happened?
He fell over because I'm a klutz. There he is.
Oh, I thought something like broke.
It sounded crunchy, didn't it?
Yeah, like something like snapped. Oh, I think I see what happened. The bonsai tree. No. You just look at the green. The green on the bonsai tree. You see how it's bent down? I think that was like with the Lego bits, like went down a little bit. Exactly. I'm gonna need that too.
No.
The questions are left unanswered. Will they find exactly what they're looking for? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's exactly what they need to hear. Maybe it's exactly what they need to find. But of course, they're right in thinking that there are probably magical artifacts here that could potentially help answer their questions. I'm just realizing how tilted that looks.
It does look like we're on like a fucking
Topsy-turvy
vault.
world.
that one house where you can like stand a broom up.
Oh, in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So like a stand-up room off on its like bristles because they're diagonal?
It's just because the room is built like
That's
this.
kind of cool.
You can actually stand any broom up on its bristles at any time. It's this weird thing that like goes around on Facebook where they're like, you can only do this today because of the equinox and the magnetic. You can do it any day. It's just you don't try it because you only try it on the day that you're told that it works. But yeah, you can stand brooms up on their bristles if you have a good enough broom.
So like the flat bottom ones. Yes, I thought you were talking about the ones that are like where the bristles are intentionally not the same length.
Some of them you can,
The
if
cinnamon
they're
rolls.
not like horribly like.
Yeah.
If you're like, we're talking this possibly. That's not what we're talking about right now. What we're talking about is Chakarn's Tower.
Chikaran, I need to know.
You bumped into Frederick. I had horrible writer's block / trying to get out 20 things at the same time and then incapable of getting out anything. So instead I just goofed and emptied it and just said, you know what, solve the fucking riddle like he wants you to before we fucking move on. To which you did, after thinking about it. Everything that it did weren't actually acts of hostility. Drink with me, play with me, fight with me, grow old with me. So, he wasn't looking for enemies. He was looking for champions of the heart, which you already established, heroes, and he wanted them to be his friends. So here we stand. What was you going to do that?
Can I roll for a Chikaran friendship?
Go ahead and give me a d20. Make the big guy die.
Ooh, the big one.
If you hit any one of these monsters, it becomes real.
I'm gonna use the divination. No.
What are your divination die for the day?
It's just 17. I used my 20 earlier,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and I got a 4.
Well, if you combined it with the power of the 20, instant Chikaran friendship.
Can't he get to roll for it as well?
Yeah.
But he gets to add his attack modifier.
Is this
Because that is something that Chikaran would appreciate.
is this considered a saving throw?
No.
Strength saving throw.
Or are you trying to add your like force
My
advantage?
D4.
Oh.
4.
Hold on. Can I see this for a second? 14.
Which is right next to 4.
I think these dice are unbalanced.
8, and that doesn't have a 4. Oh, you know what? It is a magic counter. That's why. But it still shouldn't always land on 4. I mean, we're getting variance now, but that's pretty fucking close. Alright. You stand upon the main hall. Well, the main access hall. There's still a main hall much further up. But this is sort of like, as you know, the place he teleports out and out of. Grab last minute supplies. He's got some potions of healing, potions of knickknacks. Maybe some +1 thises or that. Maybe some spell scrolls in that room. Maybe some poisons. You don't know. That's not really what you're here for, unless it is. We can pilfer through that if you wish. But you stand here, you see that there are multiple exits from this room. You can kind of see out above and like to the room ahead that like it kind of enters into this very open kind of like floor plan that kind of goes over through multiple floors. And you just stand through with Frederick. So much of what was seemingly locked out for you, like you knew you couldn't leave this room, after saying that this wasn't a test of fighting, this was a test of friendship, now seem unlocked to you. Portals and protections seem lifted. Things now seem open when they seemed closed. Now you stand in front of Frederick, who now seems fresher of mind now that he's not focused on one single task, and now that limitations almost seem lifted upon him. Oh, sorry about that. It's really tough, all of these riddles, you know, one at a time.
It was a doozy of a riddle.
Well, you solved it after all, didn't you?
Yes. So, what now?
You tell me. I'm at your beck and call. You are guests of Chikaran's now.
So, I'd like to start off by just asking, where's the axe?
he seems almost sort of non-responsive instantly and just sort of like slowly starts walking towards it. And then, you know, it's a good ways away. And then he sort of just stands in front of it and stares at it. Where's the axe? And he goes and reaches. And the second he touches where it was, he sort of... so what was I helping you with?
Can I it's very difficult. I don't think insight is the right one.
I mean, insight sounds right to me, unless you had a better suggestion.
I'd like to insight too.
No!
But I was watching him too.
If you hit one of the monsters, they become real.
You insight. I'm gonna do an Arcana check.
There we go.
Okay.
I mean, now that half his proficiency is added to everything.
Nat 20.
Nice. A natural 20.
I'm gonna do yours first. Everything about this is magic. 100%. This entire place is magic. You know, it's pulsing with magic, riveting with it. Everything here reeks of a very powerful magician. That being said, you're not 100% sure what the fuck is going on here. But I'm not to say that that's because you failed. That's because you're seeing a lot of checks here and you don't know why this is making him act like that. Which is more of an answer than you'd get for getting a direct answer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know that it's not. You're not like, oh, why? I can't rack my head around this. You're like, this shouldn't be an issue, and it is. There's no spell here fucking with him. He's not got like a charm cast on him or anything. Like, he's also essentially part of Jakurn's tower. So Jakurn's tower seems like it's having an issue not really seeing what it is. But you know everything in the Arcana department of both the tower, Frederick, and the weapons display case itself, everything is good. Like, there's not like a curse put on it. He's not like modified memory. Everything is as it should be. With a nat 20 on insight, I will say this. I gotta think of like a really good... What is your base insight modifier, by the way? So what would the total have been?
I believe the total would have been...
Like 30 something.
No, 27.
Oh, okay.
I'll say it true. I'm going to pull it up right now. Here it is. 7. Yeah.
7?
7!
What if it's not missing?
Funny, because that's kind of what I felt like right before he went to grab it. What if
What if what?
what if it's
Invisible.
there,
You know it's not there.
but not missing? Like it was never put there. Maybe that?
He doesn't rectify it as gone.
Mm-hmm.
But he notices it's not there. But something about what's going on with him is stopping him from either relating that maybe it's not where it needs to be. Like, you know where it is, but it's not here. But you know it's not gone. It's like a broken sort of logic, and what you know is not a living being.
Mm.
Which can mean many things. Maybe a very fault on the logic that is in this thing. Maybe there's an exploit within the tower itself. But at the same time, what has the tower continuously done as you've progressed through it? Unlock itself to you.
Yeah. So there's another thing we need to solve still.
Constantly. You are on the ground floor of a tower that stretches how high? Hundreds of feet high? maybe there's a knowledge that is locked that would help him answer the question, but he knows in his present state he cannot answer it, so he cannot address it. So because of that, he sort of has this sort of logical loop fallacy and falls apart and needs a reset every couple of seconds.
If we overload his RAM, he might crash. And then we have...
Oh, dude, if you get him into his debug menu, you can start no-clipping through this tower and, like, speedrun it. I think 7 minutes 23 is the current record.
Is there any water we can swim in?
What about a wrong warp?
You can get 1 bucket of water.
1 bucket of water.
So you can, like, jump down from the top.
You go
From
through a
this point
pipe.
forward, could we please switch the game to Japanese?
Speak only in Japanese?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because text moves faster.
Oh, of course, yes, you're right. My apologies. However, there is the problem. There's a good chance when you play with the Japanese mod pack, a mob you need to spawn in later in the tower has like a lower spawn chance rate, and that's just a bug in the code that we can't fix.
Yeah.
Why are there 2 extra bosses in the American version?
Because they're the fucking best bosses ever, and you don't beat them, you're a pussy.
It's weird.
You're
they're
a
not...
coward, and you didn't beat Final Fantasy VII, Thomas.
It's
because Ruby and Emerald Weapon need to die, and they're not that hard if you know what you're doing.
It's weird. It's not canon content. Why are they there?
So here's my other question. Why is it that the second hardest monster in this game only appears in a random chance in the final hallway?
Which one are you talking about?
Final Fantasy 1, the Ultimate Weapon only shows up in the final hallway
Oh,
as
yeah.
a random chance.
Oh yeah, that was the one where they were like... That was also the one that, like, started Ultimate Weapon from that point forward, but
Yeah.
man, did they fuck it up the first time.
The first time was just like, you might never see it for the first 10 times you play.
There's a what? I always like, though, that Odin has always been an optional thing. You have to find
Yes,
his castle
he's
somewhere.
always optional.
Yeah. I gotta say, he looked really cool in 8.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Joe Wells.
Happy birthday, Joe Wells. Is he on?
I don't think so.
Okay, whatever. Happy birthday, though, regardless.
If he posts in the chat again, I'll yell at him.
Did he post in the chat?
No.
Oh. When you said again, that implied that he had already. Let's get back to the tower at hand.
Yes. So,
Do you have my under T4 yet?
No.
I got it.
I'm starting to get the feeling that it's not missing. But there's more shit we need to do here.
Maybe there's a dead guy in a hallway somewhere that has it and he never got out with it, you know?
Yeah.
I stole this and I'm gonna get greedy and keep going. They're like, fucking idiot.
I did have that moment in my head where I was like metagaming. I'm like, is it sequestered? And I'm like, I would still see it.
Would you?
No.
Do you see into the ethereal?
You can't see into the ethereal. You can only see invisible. That's
I gotta
different.
double check
Yeah,
the
no,
word
yeah.
on sequester.
Sequester, it's in the ethereal.
Cause like you would see chests floating around.
Yeah, you don't see. It's. Not, I'm not saying it's not hard to see into the ethereal. It's very easy to see into the
I mean,
ethereal.
we took a drug and saw into the ethereal.
Not only that, like in game, like you blink and you're in the ethereal.
Yeah.
You know, like I think there's many ways to see into the ethereal inherently in the game already. But no.
Shit, this fucking wording of sequester on the app is terrible because it mentions nothing about it going into the ethereal plane.
Which app?
I just called 5e spells.
Hold on.
Why wouldn't it be word for word from the book?
Yeah, 5e spells is the good one. The 5e reference is the bad one. That's the one that like really. This one? This one is bad for you?
What does it say? Does it say another dimension or something?
By means of the spell, a willing creature or an object can be hidden away, safe from detection for the duration. When you cast the spell and touch the target, it becomes invisible and can't be targeted by divination spells. Oh, hold on. Or perceived through scrying senses created by divination spells as the target. Hold on, does it say... I might be thinking of your chest, now that I think about it.
The chest 100% is just the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be what I've thought about originally, and Sequester might just be its own thing. I'll say this though, Sequesters you're not going to be able to see anyways, because you can't see not being. You know what I mean? Like it is.
It's strictly
It's struck in its own thing. In my game, Sequester, you're stuck in your own thing, and that's why.
also divination spells. Is see invisibility like a divination spell? So in that case, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, precisely.
I would like to make an investigation check on the where the axe presumably should be.
Well, are you gonna then? I guess you. Okay, you did just explain it. Go ahead. Make an investigation check. But I think that's not really. You're not gonna get much out of this because you're still limited to the room you're in.
16.
You have no clue where it could be. How would you know? You're stuck in the room and you know it's somewhere, maybe hidden inside the you don't know where that would be because you don't know where to begin. You know.
Well,
You know it's not in here. You know it might be hidden. You might be a loop. It might be something. But you know, if there was something that would have started a trail in here, you would have already found it from everything you've done.
well, now that we've opened unlocks Frederick some more, we should kind of mosey around and see what else is new then.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a general perception check as you kind of walk back to the hall. Much of the room that you were in already is exactly as it was.
17.
22.
22.
Special eyes.
The hallways on the left and right sort of go out and start kind of like, now you can see they have like a sort of wrap around. They don't seem to go on to like infinitum. Like the other times when it's just like, hey, you can't go down there yet. It just seems like a long, bland hallway that just goes on forever. But now they sort of like seem to wrap around. They seem to have rooms inside of them. They seem to have different destinations. They go around the base of the tower. And there's a sort of entrance into a sort of grand, more welcoming hall to the actual living part of the tower that goes up some stairs and then opens up. It's tough to see from where you're at because you haven't gone up the stairs yet, but it seems to be an open plan that sort of has like an atrium into multiple floors above it, and it's sort of just like a... You'd have to go in to see, but it seems to be like a foyer, atrium, grand hall that'll lead into a lot of the main inner tower.
Alright,
And
so
potentially go up from there.
based on what you're describing, are we talking like as we look up, we can see the floors above us, like multiple floors, or is it just
Not
like
you.
one?
You're looking up a staircase.
Oh, up a staircase.
You're looking up a staircase, and then you got a tower that wraps around. And the staircase goes into the middle of the tower, and that sort of goes into a room that seems to open up and be like a grand foyer. Maybe some stuff here, maybe some stuff here. You can't see it because of the angle. And then you can tell it goes into multiple floors, and they have balconies and other rooms and things like that look into this grand opening. But from, looking down upwards in it, you can't really see the room,
Okay. Well, I think I want to go upstairs.
Yeah. It's quite breathtaking. I will say, my stance does cast Sanctuary onto him.
Yes, I will say from this point forward until you need it, he's basically perma casting Sanctuary on you.
Okay.
Whenever you need to. Does your stand do that? No.
Blood Chrysalis. Can you...
Blood Chrysalis Coon.
Hey, Blood Chrysalis Coon. Can I get Protective Barrier?
Can you say that normally?
I can make your body with a fine mist of blood constantly spraying out of your epidermis to sort of provide a minor protection.
Is it like a
It will
protection?
run out.
Or would it be like...
Don't! Just like you're getting small, like red mist. It'll be like protection from projectiles.
I can do this for about
So, like-
30 seconds.
So is it like...
Getting weak over here.
So it's like an extra sense, like I'll feel it coming and I'll just move out of the way. Or
Oh no, it'll also actively defend.
push.
Yeah.
Alright. So, how much blood are we talking? It's like per second. It's like
Do that right now.
10% per second.
Alright, I will say this. because I've just made this up.
Yeah, I know.
As you do it, you get no health regen of any kind.
Okay.
Because your blood is actively leaving.
I was just fucking around with you, right?
And you know what? I don't think I want to do that. Because I was like, we're adding too many layers on.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It was a good joke, though.
I mean, you have oak skin. You'll be fine.
You have hemophilia now.
I've been cut and bled too many times. You look to Frederick, and he looks to you. Upstairs is where the masters wish to travel.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then. You have access. Of course, you've...
I start.
Remember, all of this was locked off, and then you answered the riddle. So everything from this point into the next room, like, you've already unlocked.
Yeah.
Like, that's all free to go to you.
Okay.
He's just sort of like, because you know, he was expecting a little bit more Q&A before. You just were like, oh, we want to go up here? And he's just like, yeah, okay.
Well,
So what's up there?
As he, like, walks up and leads you up here, it's like, this would be the main atrium. It is where the master would receive and take guests. There were very, very few, but occasionally, comings and goings, the place to welcome him home when he walked in from the teleportation. It access into the library, the conservatory. Well, it was like a minor arcanum. It wasn't really the main lab, but it was where he kind of did some minor musings when he had the time and wanted to look out in the main garden. And as you walked up these stairs, the ground has this very beautiful marble, and it makes a lovely path into this just garden. There's like a moss garden, like on all parts that aren't marble, and then there's just lovely manicured like bonsai trees here. There's a lovely big sort of, you don't know what sort of tree, but it looks exotic from some sort of jungle. It has leaves like you've never seen before. Like everything here looks magical. There's a small bubbling creek and a stream in one corner. It's kind of just like his own small private garden. There's a few pathways into some like sitting areas. There's like a few bookshelves on the corner, like maybe like a few cabinets and things like that. A seating area in one corner. And like you know, he said, you look above you and you can see that there's a balcony and it seems to go into a library. There's a glass sort of greenhouse wall on one side, and you can see a bunch of plants, and there's like vines from that growing over and coming down, and like there are roots that combine from this place into that, and trees that merge. You know, like that's, you know. And then you can see that there's another balcony with, you know, seems to have some sort of thing. You imagine that's sort of where he's got an arcanum. And then you can see there's also a main tube sort of going up that reaches further and further up, but it has that sort of infinite look to it like everything else has when you know you can't get into it. So it's kind of like, instead of loading the textures to the next area because you haven't accessed it, the game's like, no! You get repeating texture until you build game puzzle.
I don't know why, I just imagine the castle from Mario 64.
Yeah, there was a big picture of a bomb.
Alright, we gotta go to Dire Docks.
Why? I hate that level.
You have to first defeat King K. Rool. I know it makes no sense, but Shirkan did his own thing. While you guys are sitting there, even though he is a hologram, he kind of goes to this sort of stone bench on this moss and just sort of plops himself up and sits on it. And sort of lets his feet dangle and looks around. I haven't been in this room in some time. It's weird, the magic keeps it exactly as it was.
When was the last time you were here?
I haven't been projected since the last visitor.
Who was the last visitor?
He stares off to the wild for a while, and you once again feel like... And then he looks back and is like, well, Shirkan, of course. He programmed me and then left. Well, didn't leave, but...
Passed away.
Yes.
What happened to Shakurn's body?
A being of that power. It's tough for them to pass on, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's risky for them to remain. It's tough for me to recall all the details, but what I do know is that measures were made, actions were taken. The body, once the plan should have been executed, should no longer be accessible. Ever. And he kind of like looks, and he once again he sees like a little bit like he's trying to get something that he can. He's just like, oh yes, 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 yes. Yes, from what I know of the outside, yes. Oh yes, long time ago now. I mean, you could always ask him, Josh, if you have curiosities.
What what do you mean by that statement exactly?
Which one?
Long time ago. Yes, yes, yes. It's not.
Oh, different thoughts. Sorry.
Yeah.
Long time ago. Last time I saw him. Yes, yes, yes. He is no more.
Okay.
I don't like trying to read into everything this man is saying.
Welcome to everything that this campaign has been about from the beginning.
But you keep getting higher and higher levels of potential cryptic.
Welcome to Chakurn's Tower, the most powerful wizard that taught the greatest wizard of every generation everything he knows. The only living being to become an Arcanum source besides the Praetorian.
Is there a visitor's book here?
I am the visitor's book.
So I guess we're signed in now.
Yes. Of course, a registry of accepted visitors, like I told you when you left beforehand. The house, like I am an extension of, merely just a face designed for it, welcomes or defends against.
How many accepted visitors are there?
Well, currently, Chakurn and you two.
Okay. Oh.
What?
Nothing.
You're not gonna etch him off the fucking registry.
Etch Basco off the registry.
Oh, sorry, Basco as well. Basco as well. I apologize, Basco as well. I thought you were looking at me and was like, Chakurn? I'm like, yeah, he did build the fucking thing.
Would his adventuring party not be part of that as well? Or is that like a before Chakurn's Tower thing?
They, remember, this was after the adventuring party that, like, he did this while he was away. It was kind of put from the knowledge you know of, like, his time with Mardiket, like, he retired to this. So this was sort of after he's left them. He might have taken them as guests. Like he said, there were people that he took as guests at a time. But to give them permanent access like what you have, to now come and go as you please through the access of Frederick, they did not have that. Because at the time, it would kind of be like, why would he need that? He would be there to welcome them, sort of thing. Like I said, the program that basically
Where this was potentially.
That is correct. He retired to an unknown location. Even if they were invited in, there's no necessary knowledge that they knew where they were going. It's a teleportation circle. I can teleport you to a teleportation circle, and you can never know where the fuck you are. You could be in the bottom of the ocean for all you know. I can welcome a guest, and you can never know where I've been.
We are at the bottom of the ocean, actually.
Are you?
Unless the crowd was just like, nah, alright, let's go back. Or go somewhere else.
I was like, in the infinite universe, it either stayed where it was or went right back to where it was.
How do we make the crate? How do the crate? How do we make the crab do the crab rave?
Oh, you got it. That's a whole Easter egg. Did you bring the shovel from Ortho's house from River Run?
Jesus Christ, no.
Oh, well then how can you get the crab rave?
We had to make room for something. God damn it.
Yeah, yeah.
Quick, let's teleport back to River Run. We just break into this guy's house and take his shovel.
You solved the flute puzzle with the cats in that back alley in Bismuth, right?
No, I think we rolled too
Oh,
low.
then you didn't get the handmaiden's cloth, and then from that you weren't able to trade that for the perfume you needed to get past the guard, which would have gotten you the Lord's Ring.
There's always that one really long
So yeah,
fetch
you can't
quest.
unlock that Easter egg. Sorry.
Which NPC in your world is Matt Smith?
The one you killed when you cast Big Boom Divine Magic. You killed Matt Smith in our universe.
Thank fucking God. He has a face problem.
So let's get back to the tower.
Yes.
You can't just get past the fact that Josh doesn't like my cryptic shit.
It's a riddle, Josh, and riddles get to be solved.
Thomas, I love Thomas, was just like, I think there's been a weird subliminal thing throughout this whole campaign the other night. And I was like, yes. Yes, there has.
I should probably go for an autism diagnosis.
Tell
Well,
me,
I mean, no,
what's
he
the
kind of like...
subliminal message? What is it, Thomas?
Well, what were you saying that you felt more obligated to find the peaceful solution? And you feel like you don't know why, but you felt like you were pushed to that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the campaign was sort of like pulling us in that direction for some reason, and he doesn't know why or what.
And you were being turned into a violent monster.
That's not what we said.
Well, I was gonna say, like, everything Korvac touches is violence.
Not true. You stopped him from eradicating a man's soul with an item that you would probably should be the one saying everyone should use.
And then I forced you to do it.
You were the one that needed to be told to fucking revolt against your leaders.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
That's
Oh
why
my
you're.
God.
in your head.
It's Taoism.
That's why you're in. That's why
Welcome to Taoism. That's what the final message has been about. Thank you. The game is finally over. As we all know how it ends, so it need not be finished.
I'm free.
Right. I know we've been
remember what we were
spouting
talking-
nonsense for the last 5 minutes, but
You're sitting in front of Frederick. I said some cryptic shit about registries and things, and he's trying to be like, I don't know. Trying to see the double meaning of everything I say.
So, clearly we got to figure out how to get the axe back or where it is.
I mean, maybe that's
Shakurn's
not
axe.
Yes.
Shakurn's axe?
Oh, sorry.
Black Knight's axe?
Yeah, Black Knight's axe.
I'm like, more cryptic
Technically,
shit!
technically, it is Chakurn's
Yeah,
axe.
technically it is because he owns it, but
Yeah.
the Knight of the Black Axe, it's just over there. And he starts doing it again.
Here's a fun
Oh,
question.
I thought you guys were going to try to stop him, but no, he goes ahead and goes through that loop again,
Oh god.
and then comes back.
So-
While you guys are sitting here, you can kind of have some time to think about perhaps what you want to do while Frederick is rebooting himself silently by walking over, realizing it's not there, freaking out, rebooting and coming back.
Arm wrestle.
No.
Yes?
Should we explore the guest rooms, maybe? Or,
Guest rooms?
like you said, like, there were guests. This is where or near where the guests he would host are. So I assume
They were not staying the night.
Oh, okay.
I do want to go take a look at that tree that seems...
Yeah, it's right in the middle. You kind of walk up, and then there's like a pathway that kind of wraps around it, and it's kind of the centerpiece of when you walk in.
Is this a naturally made tree? Is it maybe something that has a familiar cousin within the within
Give me a
the
nature
world?
check.
Sorry, I had to how do I make this nature?
I mean, you could just ask, can I get a nature check to understand what's going on in the tree? But I got what you got from that.
That is a 24.
You've seen crazy trees before. You've seen trees modified by dark magic, good magic, druidic magic. You've seen trees grown in a forest grown by the Fae Eternal. So you know that while, yes, this is a natural tree, it comes from clearly some sort of magical place. It is not a species you've seen before, but you've seen things akin to it, sort of in the Fae forest, So you think maybe that like it's just sort of nature 2.0 essentially, like just really zoozed up, very earthy, very druidic, very enhanced. He seems like maybe on his travels, you see a lot of this in his room. A lot of this place is got plants and fruits and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That none of them come from the same place. They're all from different parts of the world. And that this is sort of like, I liked this when I traveled here, so now this is here. I liked this when I traveled here. So maybe he found one of these, liked one of them, and transplanted it here. But it's beautiful. It's bizarre. It's kind of, imagine like those really thick, like African trees, you know, with the
I know exactly
long,
what you're
like
talking about.
wily roots. But there's like this sort of purple iridescent mushroom that sort of grows on a lot of it. The bark itself has this sort of overly green, sort of mossy infused inside of it bark. It's densely vegetative, a lot more than it normally would be. There's a lot of bushy leaves and everything on it, and that's scattered throughout. And the leaves are just like almost electric in color. They're so vibrant, and when the wind passes through them, you almost see like a tracer effect in the air from it, and sort of like the pollen emits is almost like a pixie dust sort of thing. And it's all sorts of different colors, ranging from green to purplish reds to sort of dark yellows, a little bit of blue here and there. As it sort of, the wind goes, it seems like the color in itself fades and moves around as it goes. And then it settles down and sort of the colors revert back to what they were before the wind started moving them. Frederick walks back and is like, if you eat those mushrooms on there, you go places. That's all I'm saying.
Physically or mentally?
Both, I think. I mean, you know how it is.
Can we
You look like a guy.
Can we take some?
Can you?
Can
No. It's very hard to, properly pull them and prepare them. You gotta make sure you get the right age, too, because too much, you put your body into shock and kill you. Not enough, you don't really get the effect. Also, it's kind of just hard to get in yourself, you know?
So, do you know which of Chakern's adventuring party? Do you know who may still be alive?
Mardukat's dead, right?
Yes.
None of them.
Okay. Before Marduketh, who
He
was...
hosted the Black Knight for a time. On a few visits. But
Why did the Black Knight come and visit him?
friends?
Yeah, that'll do it. I didn't know if there's maybe like a secret reason.
If there was, I wasn't programmed with the conversation in my brain.
Who was Chakern's favorite?
Really wasn't a man for favorites. He loved them all. He saw Marduketh as a son. He saw the Dark Knight as a confidant and one of the best battle companions he's ever had. And who can't keep their healer deep in their heart? Keeping them alive. Keeping the team together. He cared for them all. In their own ways.
With the way you work, are you able to rationalize viewpoints of Chakern's?
Yes, I would say I know enough about him to do that.
What did you think of the Eternals?
Which ones in particular?
The Praetorians?
They were very good friends with them. Dear friends. The conversations that Chakern had with the Praetorian's father were some of the most enlightening he's had, from what I know of him. When Chakern unveiled the ability to manipulate the Arcanum, the Praetorians didn't find this with jealousy, or anger, or an encroachment. They viewed it as a kinship, a success, a thing to bond over. Chakern told in confidence the original Frederick that he was worried that the son had a hint of jealousy. But then again, I think he was the only one that knew about the son. Or one of the few at the time.
I'm guessing his adventuring party, specifically Mardeketh, wasn't necessarily privy to a lot of the information he had about the Eternals.
It's sort of like a club. Once you gain access, you sort of own the right. It's a viewpoint of the world. You can't merely express the grandiose of an Eternal to another person and have them understand it. They have to see it and find it on their own to understand. Or at least that's the way Chakern told me. He loved playing chess with the Praetorian. Taught him how.
Oh no, we're gonna have to play chess against the son of the Praetorians.
Yeah, you are.
What about the Curator?
What about the Curator?
Well, what did Chakern think of him?
Curator's an interesting sort. He's a man that's multifaceted. Because of this, it took a lot to grow on him. But grow on each other they did. They always loved to bounce ideas off of each other and interesting thoughts. And Chakern had questions about, well, the concepts of and the experiments potentially done with time in the Curator's realm. Do you know that the Curator, upon his sort of joint growth, they created a cell where he could go and spend an 8-hour period in that cell in the Curator's world. And then there was a setting that the Curator could set to make how the time dilation would attach to that. So like he could spend 6 seconds in this world, but he was actually spending 8 hours in there because he was kind of passing in dimensions with that sort of... Isn't that cool?
We've seen that before.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Chakern helped him build it. Well, that was a joint group. Of course the Curator could have built it, but, you know, joint concepts. Why would the Curator have thought of that? Unless Chakern pitched it.
Are there instructions on how to make one?
Yeah, first things first, get to the Curator's universe. Because that's the only way to really make it work.
We're trying to get him here first. So, in regards to the Eternals, we understand that Chakern had made a promise to these Eternals, but we're not clear on what that was. What was the promise?
He kind of like looks out and it's vague. Not quite sure. It was good. He promised that we would do better, essentially, but the actual wordings? I'm not 100% sure on. Maybe he's got it in a journal somewhere up there. I don't know. This is sort of just common open area. And he goes back to kicking his feet on the bench again.
Would you like to go visit? Would you like to go visit Shakern's study?
Yeah, I mean, does it seem like we could at this point, or because you said up, that looks like an eternity, right?
Currently, yes.
So that's something we're not seeing yet.
Why didn't we collect the power source, Josh?
You guys got the chaos symbols, right?
All 6 of them.
There are 8.
All 6 of them.
How are you guys gonna get the good ending? If you don't have all 8
How is Korvac gonna go super Korvac?
You have all of the bonus gems from the Crash Bandicoot levels, right?
So wait, if Korvac goes Super Saiyan, does he just become yellow werewolf?
Piss
Your
wolf.
beard. What do you do, gentlemen?
Do you have any questions for Frederick?
We're kind of standing here with him while he's kicking back and relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I find a comfy location?
There's a seat right next to him. It's a bench.
Sit next to him.
Sure.
Do you think there's coffee service?
Yeah. He kind of reaches over to the table that's right there, and all of a sudden, as soon as he reaches for it, there's coffee. With cups for 3. Here you go. Passes it to everybody.
I'm gonna run Arcane. Is that kind of like Magic Mansion kind of levels of something that just happened there? Hey, that was actually pretty good though.
Yes, I will.
You need it because your arcane's not great, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, now that I have half my proficiency in intelligence stuff, it's at least a +3, so it's 22.
I also got 22.
Yes, that is very much what it's like, bud.
Okay.
This place is very magical.
Mm.
And because Frederick represents the magic of the tower itself, if he wants something, and it's within the power of the tower, the tower power provides.
Tower power provides.
And he kind of hands out coffee to everybody.
Take a drink of it.
It's very good. It's just the right temperature, not too hot, not too cold. In fact, it feels like the cup is like kind of keeping it at that temperature too, but not in a weird like uranium heated way, so you don't feel worried about it. And it's got that like perfect flavor and texture of like this is what coffee's supposed to taste like. This is good coffee.
It has a good mouthfeel.
Yes. Arabica beans? I don't know. Guatemala? Who knows? It's its own thing.
What does Korvac think of the coffee?
It's not fairy coffee.
It's not very common.
Just smashes the cup on the ground.
You have 2 of them now.
I know. I wanna maybe look in the direction of where he's been looking this whole time. Every time he's come up here, he's been kind of like. Has he been kind of like?
Go ahead and make an perception. It's not like he's on a rail. He is looking at specific things, though.
Okay.
But it's not like he's on a repeated loop or anything.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
18.
He seems to just be looking at certain plants, certain nice features, certain vines. He hasn't been in here, like, because he hasn't been propagated. He's just been his own thing. He has a modicum of his own intelligence, as a program, and he just likes looking at the stuff. Makes things a lot easier than him just staring at you, like slightly A-posing. For him to have a constant eye contact.
Yeah.
Spewing off like fucking generic lines.
Hello, traveler. Sorry, that was a little Joe Biden. Hello.
Hello.
Salute the Marines.
Skip.
You sound
Skip.
strong, son.
Skip. Here is your hero. Well done.
So, what rooms are there on offer for us around?
That library, that conservatorium, this entirety of the garden that you're in, and that minor arcanum. There appears to have been things in that out hall too that you had access to as well, but you haven't gone down there to check. You don't. It's tough to tell you the importance of it, but they clearly are things that are outside of the progression of going inside the tower, if that makes any sense. They were their own separated thing. So it doesn't feel like if you want to go deeper in the tower that any of that would have been helpful to you. They would have just been their own rooms.
Bathroom.
One of them is the brig. Like, there's a few other things like that, but...
Vasco was here to ask if Chakern had any dank weed.
He probably did somewhere. There's a dank weed room, but you need to unlock that.
Gotta roll the perfect booth.
In real life. IRL.
Josh, now is your time to shine.
What if it's just like he rolls the perfect booth, but yet he does not smoke?
I can only lead those.
London smoking.
Don't go into the weed cave.
So library. Oh, sorry.
A minor arcanum and a conservatory. That's where Mr. Body was found. Why was that something that you had to find out in a clue? Where was he killed? There! Probably where we found the fucking body.
All right.
Dumbasses.
Spice!
Spice!
Sorry, you reference a Tim Curry movie to me now, and it's...
It.
Spice!
Dune.
He's in Dune?
No. I just wanted to see if you'd do it.
Spice!
So, well, I guess let's poke around at some other locations, shall we?
I think the library sounds fun.
Sure. You guys look up to the library, and as soon as you're like, I think I want to go to the library, you find that it's getting closer and closer. And you're looking that you're just sort of naturally ascending upwards to it. And then you're like, landed nicely on a balcony. No thoughts required, just, I'd like to be up there. Okay. And you're slowly going up there. Once again, magnificent mansion style shit.
Bullshit. No, I'd like to.
You can tell immediately, you walk into a sort of open doorway. It's a cozier library, kind of fits around the curve of the tower itself. You walk through it and it sort of opens on your outside, hits one of the outside walls and then starts curving in and around. It's, if this was a private library in your house, you'd be impressed, but you get the feeling that Chakern probably has a much bigger library somewhere else. But this is quick reference stuff. Like you said earlier, this is hey, I'm leaving or I'm coming in. So if you want to just come in and grab a book, or grab a book for light reading in the garden, things like that, you'd have them here.
Is there a librarian's Rolodex anywhere?
You have Frederick with you. Frederick is basically the guide to everything here.
Does he turn into a Rolodex?
No.
So Frederick, the books that are in here,
Yes.
are we allowed to take them with us?
No. They are the property of Chakern's Tower.
We get maybe a library card?
You cannot take anything from this place.
Second question.
Well, not anything like that.
Can
Can we
make
take
copies?
knowledge from this place and share them with Save?
I'd say most of what is in this library could probably be shared to the outside world, but if you find anything that can't, I'll let you know.
Even if it was the great elder dragon. That's his name. Oh,
Eternal Dragon?
Eternal dragon. Yes. Even if it was the eternal dragon, he doesn't have any special privileges.
If he came here?
No, if we shared it with him instead of everybody. You get what I'm saying?
If you shared the knowledge from this library specifically with just the Eternal Dragon?
Yeah.
I mean, once you copy it's whatever. Once you
Okay.
copy it from here. As long as it's fine in here, it's fine with anyone particularly.
Okay.
Chakern, did you think that Chakern had a problem with the Eternal Dragon?
No, I just figured that the
But
eternal
dumb-
dragon would
dumb
have
bitch.
more privileges than the average Schmo, you know.
No, this, like I said, this is not his forbidden library.
Okay.
This is like the library. This is the library that's accessible from the like open hall. This is sort of like Chakran will be with you a moment if you'd like a book to like pilfer through, or like there's also quick references for him to look things up if he needs it. Like deep knowledge, his spells, shit like that, things that are gonna be conflicting and important. That's gonna be further up. You get the feel.
I'd like to find Chakran's spell book.
You already got a spell book.
Shut up!
Just
there's
walking around with 3 spell books over here.
I'm level 2 wizard! It's gonna take me 18 hours to copy anything out of these books.
Welcome to D&D, baby.
Frederick, are there any books here on maybe history of the world?
Yeah, a few, yes. What sort of period, time? What exactly are you looking for?
What periods do you have?
Well, pretty much everything up until the library was finished. And there's been nothing really new since then.
Old is better?
I have that, actually, in 2 volumes. It's original in its first edition. He goes and he gets a book called Old is Better, and it explains the old world pre-calamity.
Is the first edition, like, is there any addendums to the history in it?
Well, like I said, there was a first edition and an original, and it just sort of has more discoveries and addendums to miscalculations of things in the first bit. A lot of it is knowledge that is some things like, hey, we absolutely know this, and some of it is speculation, because a lot of history was burned, rewritten by victors, that sort of things.
Anything on Magnus?
You look through that, and it actually talks about Magnus's sort of rise to power. His sort of like leading the way, the wizard revolution, essentially, a wizard renaissance. How he had people close to them, and then they taught someone, and then they taught someone, and then eventually it got to the point where the things he was entrusting to people were eventually just getting to people that he didn't think he should have gotten it. And it's just like, okay, I can trust you, but I can't trust the people that you trust, which sort of ultimately led to him feeling ultimately more responsible for the world than he really felt like. He's like, I trust you, you're my best friend, and then you fucked me over by taunting somebody that you really shouldn't because you had bad judgment. And now something that I taught that is like earth-shattering is in the possession of someone who really should not have it. And then once they know it, they teach someone, and then that secret's out. And that sort of is what ultimately led him to be like, I can't find anyone, because ultimately every one of them, someone taught someone who taught, oh, let me be your battle mage, my lord. I know one of the powers of Magnus. And a lot of people thought his going to the moon was a sort of, fuck you, I don't want people stealing my shit. Like a kid leaving a kickball game, taking his ball, because he doesn't want, if I'm losing, now no one gets to play. Sort of like, you guys are using my magic and it's not mine anymore. No, it's just a sort of like, I'm very good at this. And I can create spells that the average caster isn't intelligent enough, morally strong enough, or emotionally intelligent enough to know that this shouldn't be used. Or at least not in this case. And thus, he exiled himself. From there, almost everything was speculation up until the destruction of the third moon.
Okay. While he's doing that, I'm not going to be opening up any books or asking for anything. No, sir.
What are you going to be looking up then?
I'm just going to be...
Melding into the background, nodding?
No, I'm going to peruse.
He just starts fucking.
Is there like a weightlifting section? Any sports mags? He's over there looking at like centerfolds.
Yeah.
Hot orcs.
Hot orcs. Yeah.
Kobolds Weekly.
Kobolds?
You sick.
You
fuck.
sick fuck! Where? Where Where did we find
Really old dwarves. Yeah.
Lore accurate dwarf woman.
Oh yeah, you like my heady legs. Yeah, I do.
Just browsing through the bookshelves, does it feel like there's an inherent lack in something or an excess of something? Just like trying to get an idea of like maybe he
Roll
like
insight.
carried what he
Playboy.
yeah, but what if he had carried what he liked in here versus make sure he didn't have things he didn't like in here, or if it's just all kind of just whatever. So 24.
There's very much a sort of kind of whatever, like glossaries, atlases, quick references, encyclopedias, things like that. There's history books. There are fictions. There's like, a few bookshelves are dedicated to fictions. And there's a very wide variety. He doesn't really keep anything too lowbrow. He keeps a few of them. So most of the things he has are kind of like, like, have you read Atticus Finch? Have you read War and Peace? Like, not a lot of, what are the stupid fucking brothers that solve crimes that have a book series? Hardy Boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he doesn't have like anything like that.
I really have to stop myself from saying Sherlock Holmes. I'm like, they were brothers.
They were lovers.
The Brothers Grimm.
No, he would have stuff like that,
Bard Tales.
Veggie Tales?
Is there a side only?
Rom-coms.
I mean, yeah, there's romance. Like, there's a little bit of everything. Like, this library is expected to host guests.
Okay.
You
Season
know.
3 of Will and Grace.
Yeah, please.
Oh, fuck, they have Friends Season 7 on DVD?
Dude, the local library's awesome. They've got Season 3 of Will and Grace on DVD.
So I'm gonna find Mac.
Who's just now finishing up his flickering of the books.
Yeah. Not really.
I don't want to put it back.
We'll read Will and Grace later.
Who's reading Old is Better.
Alright, how much time do we have until we have to fight the Praetorian? We can probably do Season 3.
37 minutes.
How long have we been here?
Not long. Just
Yeah.
a couple of minutes, 20 minutes, something. 20, 30 minutes.
Not feeling anything specific about this place.
Is there anywhere you want to go?
We can try out the Minor Arcanum.
Roll insight, both of you.
Wait.
Damn, 23.
You both get the feeling that these are going to be the exact same experiences. Oh, there's some potions, maybe some scrolls. There's some this, there's some that. They're not going to be mind-breaking, riveting things, because it's not his arcanum. It's just an arcanum to make some quick spells, to do some quick work. That way you don't have to go all the way to the top to where his actual fucking workspace is. If he's going to the conservatory, like, there's probably going to be some things for herbs. There's going to be things for healing. There's going to be things for potions. Things that he can give off to other people. But, like, you get the feeling that the more rare items are going to be elsewhere. So this is all still, like, what I'm trying to say is not that it's not worth exploring, but you're both all coming to the concern that, like, there's nothing inherently in here that's designed to be found. If you get what I'm trying to say.
So we need to progress.
No, I'm not saying that you need to progress. But what I'm saying is if you want to explore these other things, you can. But, like, if you're going from room to room looking for the thing that's going to unlock the other thing, you're getting the sense that that's not what it's supposed to be about. These rooms are designed to be exactly what they are. Transition rooms, things to host a guest if you need to, things to help them. So what do you want to do?
So how do you think? Like, do you think it's worth going, or do you think we should try and progress and maybe get into something juicier?
Well, that was kind of the idea, was trying to get a feeling of what this floor is about.
Frederick is sort of just now looking around again at you. And what do you think it's about?
Well, it just kind of seems like there's a gathering location for guests.
Precisely, that's what it is.
You seem very good at hosting guests.
Which is odd, because he took so few. He was a quiet man in his somber hours. So much time and longing.
So, like, does he regret not being able to spend time with more people?
He kind of has a smirk, and he's like, sort of, yes.
We're his friends.
And he kind of reaches out and sort of goes, you are indeed. And then he kind of like goes off and sort of looks off in the off distance again and sort of like, sorry, what were we talking about? And almost like he forgot exactly what he just said to you.
Can I roll insight on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
21.
There are accuracies in the way you can express things. And they can mean different things. And what might have been meant one way could have been perceived as another. And that probably caused another one of those. So something got wired there that caused him to cause another fatal logic loop or an error in his structure. A slip in logic or parameters.
Why do you think that keeps happening?
I mean, you roughly know why.
Because we can't physically be his friends. We never met him in
No,
person.
no. Just, it's kind of like what I expressed earlier while my mind kind of like fried. Because it was like, he knows things and he also knows that there are things that he can't express yet. And there are also things that are locked off to him until the knowledge of the necessary unlocking has been gotten. So it's sort of like a tiered brain, sort of, essentially going on in here. So maybe sometimes a slip of something to come has happened, and it's sort of like, nope. Because of a pull from you from a cue, essentially, if we're talking in coding language, sort of got him to be like, ah, yes, I do know this. But then it's sort of like, as soon as he starts spurting off, like the rest of the knowledge gets brought up, and then it's just like, no, you're not supposed to be talking about this yet. And then it's just like, oh, no. So like we the concept of when you said we're friends, and it's like, yes, that's what sort of happened when it he wanted to be friends. That's what the trial was for. And when you said we are friends, it sort of like implied this sort of like, oh yes, we are, but then it's sort of like, no, he's gone. You know, he's not actually here. Like, you know.
So what if we want to, go up? What's...
Up there?
Yes.
You just gotta get there. I wouldn't recommend going up that way just yet, but...
Why?
Well, just like all the other ones, if you go up a place you're not supposed to, it's...
Initiates a challenge?
The challenge has already been initiated. Just like when you left before and you came back and the question was left unsolved, the challenge was there the entire time. You just had to answer it when you got back.
I'd like Chikern to be here. I'd like Chikern to be here.
You would like Chikern to be here?
Yeah.
So would I.
Well, we're currently sitting in what's effectively a waiting room.
It's a good point, Korvac. Not necessarily... I understand the logic, but... I assume the challenge must be something related to being his guest?
No, I mean, you already are his guest. You don't need to be more his guest, and you already have visited him. He's come out in multiple forms in the challenges previously. His presence here is not needed for you to proceed. Simply put, The only hint I can really give is, can you follow instructions?
Eat the mushrooms.
Go ahead and give me a nature check.
Because it can send you places. No way.
Natural 1. $34.
You pilfer your way through and you kind of like, you know, put your like, you do sort of like a feel test and you're like, which one feels the right texture to break off, not too hard so that it feels like we're, you know, you're cutting through a rock, not too loose that you feel like it's gone like sort of ripe is not the right term, but like past what you want to eat. And you find a good middle ground, you kind of get a knife out and you kind of cut just around the curve of the part that is edible. You get a good healthy dose that you can cut into dose pieces for you and your compadre here. And Frederick goes back to just sits back on his bench and sits here and watches you two. And then you have both a healthy portion of weird fantasy mushroom sitting in front of you. It's got a spongy quality. It smells kind of like buttery, nutty, but also at the same time like zesty, like some sort of like electricity at your tongue and fingers as you like put it to your mouth. It's something. It'll take you places.
Cheers, I guess?
We're ending the campaign right here.
I'm gonna need Constitution saves from you both after you consume it.
I don't feel anything.
I can't. Oh, shit.
Did you get a nat 20?
No, I got
Okay.
I had 19.
Did you get a nat 20?
I got 14.
No. I was like, I'm pretty sure the only way any of you can hit the DC on this is if you hit a nat 20.
It's 35.
Huh?
It's 35.
35 is what?
My save total.
If you roll a nat 20?
No, if I rolled the 19.
Okay, then that would have been fine.
Yeah.
Wait, no, ties go to me, don't they? No, you would have hit the DC, that would have been fine. So if you rolled a 19 and then also hit a D6, yes. But you did not.
Okay.
Instead, you both like sort of look at each other and reality sorts of... It starts getting wavy and then almost like the world is made out of paint and it just starts running. All the colors start running and blending together. Like everything is running and pooling down into each other. Like reality is bleeding. Like, oh, that tree is now running down Mac's face, which is down there. And then as soon as it starts...
I don't like it.
As soon as you don't like it, like it's sort of like... You can sort of like, oh, color rush. Or do what you're doing. No! But as soon as it starts overtaking you, the color is washed off and you are standing on a balcony. And you look down, and you were about 40 feet above the tree that you just harvested mushrooms from. And you look to Frederick, and he's like, ah, yes, it takes you places indeed, right here, to the balcony, to the next layer of the tower.
What the fuck?
Soft Yes. Wow, that challenge was good. I liked that one.
You kind of...
We did win, right?
Yes. You kind of look up and sort of see that you're in a, kind of like a chamber symbol to the spire. It's sort of like an access way to other locations. Like a main causeway through the tower itself.
So what's up here?
Everything. It's not a sort of, you know, everything. When you get to the final layers of the tower, that is what it is. But for right here, well, got access to almost everything. Not everyone can harvest those mushrooms, you see. You have to be part of that registry we were talking about. The rest of it, the magic will protect it, or it'll just make you horribly sick and possibly kill you.
I thought I was there.
No. So my question is this. I know time is of the essence. What do you wish to do? What do you hope to find? What are you looking for? We can't simply go up every floor and check everything. You do not have the time. I'm going to say you guys woke up early around 8. You guys kind of handled your stuff by about 9. I said you got there at 10. how much time you'd say? Say we're coming on about 10:45, 11 a.m. right now.
Mm.
We've had a little bit of mushroom, but lunch is still probably coming up, hopefully. And you have until the next day you're required to be somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they'd like you to check in the night before, but you know you can push it. You always do.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, did we establish where all the troops were meeting yet? Or did we change that? I know the discussion of changing it to the location of the button was brought up. Did we ever execute that plan?
Actually, yeah.
You did?
I think that was like it was so quick because that was an end of a session that when we went to the tree, they decided to head over towards the button. Well, I kept checking on it.
Like, no, you did send troops that way, right? Like,
Yeah.
you told everybody to start shifting eastward, and then you give more instructions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's yeah.
So they're moving along the mountain range.
Hmm. Okay.
So that, like I said, they need more guidance too.
So what we should specify our searches. What do we want more than anything else from Chakern's tower?
What was it?
Cocked.
What do you want more than anything from Jagurn's tower?
I
Really like his spell book.
That sounds damn greedy of you.
would like a way to negate necrotic damage because that's my biggest weakness. Or just a way to keep the Praetorian still so he doesn't pull a fast one. That's when we end up fighting him.
Yeah.
You mean a counter spell?
Or like a tether.
Here's a out there question. Did Chakern ever come across items that may have been created by a god?
Many of the old relics were claimed to be godly, and he's collected many of the old relics. To know the original origins, to know if they've come from gods, is impossible at this point to ask or discertain.
I know one of the main things about them is they, even though they are inherently magical by nature, they don't give off inherent magical energy.
Everything here gives off an inherent magical energy.
Okay.
Hmm.
Kind of answered my own question.
Kind of the point.
Now,
You want to take a break here? Kind of gather your thoughts on what exactly you want to ask for and where you want to go? Or do you want to push through this and then do the break after?
we can do the break now.
I'll leave it up to you guys, because I know it seems like we're losing a little bit of steam here.
I do have one
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
question. We did have access to an item that when we activated it, it was a conch cell that actually seemed to release manifestations of Chakern's adventuring party, including himself.
Yes, he once blew that himself when he needed it.
What did he need it for?
He kind of looks up, looks back down. I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure he told me at one point, but maybe it's in a journal or something he wrote down.
Okay.
Maybe something to find. You're getting the sense that it's just like, hey, if you get access to this, I'll tell you that. You get access to this, I'm inherently blocking myself and I don't realize it. Because it's like the tower is just like, no, Frederick, don't tell them. But at the same tower, the tower knows, but the tower's running the Frederick program, if that makes any sense. Why it's confusing for him.
It was worth a try. I would.
I mean,
like to
it's supposed to guide you, because it's
Yeah.
like, hey, look, it's probably up there in his journal somewhere. You just have to find it. Once you unlock the knowledge of that room, I'll be able to share this opinion with you. But as of right now, I can't. For protection.
It's about the implication.
Precisely.
I think, Korvac, I would really like to find Chakern's journal.
Okay.
I just feel like there'd be such a mass of information in it.
Well, his own private quarters were more near the top.
Unless you had somewhere else you might want to look for, that might be our next point of sale.
He's right, we don't have forever.
The final floors go the conservatorium, the proper one. His library, the proper one. And then some rooms. And then his own private quarters. In his own private quarters is his own private library, with books near and dear to him, his personal collections, and his personal journals. Above those, well, on other rooms with, well, vaults, relics. There's many things and surprises to be found up there.
I imagine by the time you get to Chakern's room, you really got to know that man.
Precisely.
If not be him yourself.
There are relics and artifacts scattered throughout the property, much as you know, as you've walked by a few of his impressive displays already. If you wish to find certain magical artifacts, I can guide you through the tower itself to find them. But the real powerful ones that I'm sure you look will all be residing at the top.
Are there any items that may have been made by Magnus here?
There are a few,
No, perfect.
but those are held in the highest regards, and thus I cannot tell you their location. Which, if you've been paying attention, means it's probably one of the things at the top.
Yeah.
I bet he has a book that just says Weaknesses of Eternals.
He is essentially the wizard Batman.
The curator.
Oh my god. I'd like a belt.
It saves me from any situation.
No, have you ever read that Batman storyline where Ra's al Ghul gets a hold of like his secret documents, and Batman has a list of how to take down everybody in the Justice League?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So like basically, one day like the Justice League all get attacked by really ridiculous things, and Batman has to call in and be like, "We have a leak. All of these ways are like things that I have designed to take down each one of the Justice League." So like he works their way to defuse it. He ultimately saves them and stops Ra's al Ghul, and then everybody in the Justice League is like, "Hey, fuck you, Batman."
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Hey, how many of us have turned bad? Like, it wasn't ever meant to overthrow you, but like, what if Superman goes fucking evil? I'm just a dude. I need plans. That's my magic power."
Yeah.
And then it ended kind of with the diffusion, and then Superman, in an act of truce, gave Batman a lunk of kryptonite. And he was like, "You're absolutely right. Like, you know, everybody has to deal with it their own way, but you should have this." And it's one of those things where like a lot of people, like, it's like this very powerful moment, but then it's just like, knowing Batman, he probably already had a piece of it. It's just sort of like, thanks, Clark.
A rat with wings?
Penguin. Maybe a pigeon.
Pigeon Man? He was a low-level Batman villain.
Take a break, get our thoughts about ourselves, progress everywhere we want to go from there.
Yes.
Josh, you seem like the engines are a-churning.
Well,
If you have something before, we can.
I don't.
Okay.
Chakern.
We'll be back.
Does Chakern have a hot sister?
Now, you don't have to spread any lies anymore. We're alive now. Now you can only speak truths. Well, last we left off, the boys were in the main atrium, with access to pretty much wherever they wanted to go. Where it's slowly becoming obvious that you're probably going to want to push to the big stuff at the top, aren't you? Because you can't really put into terms exactly what you want. Because you got a lot of things, and he can kind of direct you to maybe one or two of them. Or you can shoot for the gold for the stuff he can't talk about that has, you know, maybe unforetold treasure, even better. Maybe it's exactly what you're looking for. Maybe something even better than what you're looking for.
Maybe.
The question is
there a
it worth
mystery
it?
box?
That's sort of everything above the levels like I told you. His conservatorium, his library, some rooms, and then his private quarters.
What if an extra life?
You had that already, and you used it to bring back the tree.
Well, yes.
Mayhaps a knife level spell ring?
What if you know how
You gave up the ninth level spell ring, didn't you?
Yeah,
I
but
did.
now we want another.
What is it? It's teleport and 2 shields, right?
Yes.
I was gonna say, what if we get our own personal day reset, so we can fail fighting Victorian once, so we can find out what he's all about.
Mordecai did that, didn't he?
He did.
So couldn't you potentially try to do the same?
And he just did that with Wish.
Fuck. Okay.
You've had the power inside you all along. So, you stand before him. What do you wish? More knowledge has been unlocked.
I'd like to work my way to his journals.
So the top.
Yes.
Wish to know the man fully.
Yes.
Precisely. Understood. Your thoughts, Master Gorvak.
I mean, I'm more focused on maybe stopping the Victorian, but
While there are artifacts scattered here that could do that, so too could there be in the vault, just beyond his private quarters. I cannot tell you, for I do not have the knowledge to tell you currently, at the time.
right.
It's all about faith at this point, isn't it?
what was that? All about faith?
What?
I don't know. Just all about faith. Got it.
The trick is about faith.
I'd like to make a religion check. I don't know on what.
Okay, go ahead.
Chakern was an atheist.
In a universe with fucking gods.
I don't believe it.
22.
Faith is the concept of religious devotion and a concept without necessarily full proof, but the hope that your Lord has it taken care of. With the 22, that's what you know about faith. Yeah, I just gave you the definition of faith because you rolled 22 on religion. Good job, you did it.
You did it.
Well,
Maybe you'd like to show us around, Frederick?
Where precisely are we going is the concern, Master.
So on this level,
There's no real level currently. This is the access to levels. This is the place before and in between.
oh, so like a pocket dimension.
No, it's like the middle. You're on a balcony that's sort of floating in You know how like the spire has that sort of tunnel in the middle of it that goes up between the platforms, and you gotta like determine which level or tree of magic you're going to, school of magic you're going to, based on the level you're in. It's very much the same thing. There are now, imagine the staircase in Harry Potter, but without stairs. Just random doorways and platforms and balconies, and sometimes no balconies at all, and just doorways. Sometimes the doorways don't necessarily make sense. You kind of looking down, and right where the place became that sort of infinitum hallway upwards, it's now, or not hallway, but passageway upwards. What's a hallway that's up and down? And you see that, like, just above where that was is now the balcony that you sit on, and above are all these doors of different types and makes. And then all the way at the top, there's another one of the platforms similar to what you have. That's just sort of like, as you see, we are in the place between. Where do you wish to go? Each one has its own rights and passes and privileges. You just have to tell me, hey, I don't... Unless you want to go door by door. But if you want to go all the way to the top, that's the platform up above.
Yeah. So, Chikaran would probably keep his diary either in his study or his bedroom.
He's already said that the journals would be in his private quarters.
Right. So, his private quarters then.
So, conservatorium, library, some rooms, and then his private quarters.
Why can you only say some rooms?
I do not know. Perhaps I'll know when I get there.
I'd like to see these some rooms, please.
Okay. Like I've tried explaining it a lot. You gotta go through the conservatorium. You gotta... Once we get to that sort of like top bit, it's like a level thing. Conservatorium, library.
Got it.
Some rooms, private quarters. So like that top platform starts that process. All of these other ones, those are like all like, is there a zoo? Yes, there is. Come to this store. You know, do you want to go to the potions lab? Do you want to go to like the thinking room? You want to go to the meditation room? Do you want to go to the dream suite? Like, if you wish to look for certain rooms, there might be those rooms there. But if you wish to initiate sort of like the private knowledge and the things beyond, like the vault, you gotta start at that top platform, and then the conservatorium, then the library, and some rooms. Just some rooms. A quick shot through some rooms. And then, his private quarters you will be.
Shall we start making progress, Korvac?
Okay, so to the conservatory, you said.
Yes, and as soon as you say that, you all both immediately start floating upwards like you did earlier. And you pass by many rooms that sort of all, kind of like allure you to want to try to open them. Like some of them are like, why is this room, like why is this door like 5 times the size of like a human? Why is this one tiny? Why is this one like so reinforced? Like one of them is like shaking when you go by it. One of them you can hear a cadre of animals as you go by. Some of them you can hear hush whispers behind. There's a lot. Like there's one room that you can hear, like you could have swore you could hear rain on the other side of the door. Like there's a lot. But you know that each one comes with their own challenges, and time is precious. And you make your way to the top platform. And much like there was a challenge to get to the space above, you are now standing at the top.
Okay.
Okay, if we're all doing it.
Anybody good at ventriloquism?
So, that was it, right? We all drink water.
The secrets of Chikern's tower has been unlocked.
You have to be a Hydra, homie.
Chikern is Malin.
What?
What?
Mardgeth?
So,
Yes, my friend.
So we're just kind of just sitting at the top, not quite in the conservatory then.
No, when you look upwards, same thing.
Same.
Darkness almost. Doesn't even look like there's anything above you. Seems like there's an absence of anything above you. And Frederick starts just looking upon you all.
Is there anything else at our level that we can look at?
I mean, there's some tables, some platforms, maybe like a few flowers here and there. Some like books, but not like anything that look of any importance. Just Jakern was walking and placed it here, and like just many things that are covered in dust.
You know, we haven't done yet. Just asked what the act was.
Do like maybe it might be different with you.
So when we got up here, we were like standing on a platform that rose.
No, you slowly. You know how earlier you're like, I want to go to the library,
Yeah, okay.
and you rose. Like now you're like, I want to go to that platform. So your goes just like, "Whoa," and that's all those doors you pass by as you were going up this sort of like cylinder, and then you are plopped down on top of this platform, and you, much like the stairwell that you saw earlier that led up to that atrium, didn't really kind of. It seemed like an absence of anything, and then it became a stairway into the next area. That's sort of happening again now. Magic is sort of like, no, you can't go in here, like, because it doesn't exist yet, because you haven't done what you need to do to get in there.
Frederick, why would Jakern need doors that are so massive and so tiny?
Different places, different sizes.
Different places, different sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would change sizes.
Dimensions would change sizes. That is, each one has its own purpose for the room that it is. Those are rooms that you are not trying to get into.
Right.
And are of no concern.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of lost, honestly.
That is the purpose, is it not?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to be sure? Absolutely sure.
That we were the right ones to be going this far?
That is the way I assume, as of what I remember from my lord. Yes. It's good to be with you, Ed. The more we go, the more I remember about him. I miss him.
Yeah.
He was a good man.
So, earlier we asked
Yes?
if we were his friends. Would you just kind of say, like, are we his friends?
He looks around, he's just like, well, I would say, if you're around now, I would say he would say yes to that, yeah. No. You seem like good stock.
We've already drank with him.
Not quite. Indeed.
You would only want your friends to get into your private parts of it.
Don't say it quite like that, but I understand what you mean.
Sometimes you barely even have to know the person.
What is it that is frustrating you, Master Korvac?
Can I...
You internalize much of your struggle.
Can
and
I...
expect me to know what it is that bothers you?
Can I incite the fact that he didn't trip up this time?
Sure, go ahead, bud.
I'll join you.
Shit.
Shit.
That's a 10.
That's what I like.
14.
Who knows?
Shit.
Is it resolved? Or does he know more enough to lie now to make it smoother? Or is there more to come and he knows how to stall it? Or maybe actually what he said was an accurate lie. Or maybe he diffused the situation. You don't know. But you're right. Curious. The answer has changed. Or knowledge has been unlocked.
Yeah.
His mental state has shifted.
Well, trying to try another one. Where's the axe, bud?
The axe. Do you have an axe that you have lost?
Oh, it's the Black Knight's axe.
Oh, the axe of the Black Knight. The Black Knight himself retired after much the same time as Lord Chakern. He actually bequeathed his axe. It's actually on display downstairs if you'd like me to go downstairs to get it.
It's not on
Oh.
display.
What do you mean?
It's
We would have passed it when I came by. Perhaps you missed it. I can go down to show you if you'd like.
It was missing.
And that's impossible.
okay.
Would you like? I can go down there and show you. With your insight, you know that
Yeah.
it's the exact same thing
So
as
the
it. If you
same-
go let
same
him go
thing.
down, you're gonna reset, and he's gonna have to come back and join you again.
Yeah. So
If he still believes it's hanging on that wall.
What can the Black Knight's axe do?
Well, it certainly amplified the power of the Black Knight and could do many things in battle. Strike down many foes at one time, fell. You'd swing with that axe and cut down men tree alike. He could call upon forces from it. It was made out of a material that was also almost unintelligible, one of a kind. Nothing found like it ever again. And from it had just vast arcane potential and, you know, conduit for power in any form. So, as you know, if we had friends of all sorts around, he could just amplify much power. It was.
this material. Is it the material itself or the making that makes it so powerful?
The material itself was one of a kind. It is its own. It doesn't even have a name. It is just the material of the Black Knight's axe. But the make of it would have been one of a kind as well because it was undestroyable.
Okay, so it could not be reforged or remade.
Precisely. Or at least the knowledge to it was lost to its time. It was assumed he discovered it early on in his adventures. For most of his defined story and arc and trials and trails, he was described as already wielding it.
Were there any special requirements to wield the axe?
None were known of, for he was the only wielder.
Did Shakar never wield it?
I mean, it was bequeathed upon him. So presumably, for the time, carried from there to the wall.
And was it just given to Shakar as like a, you know, a keepsake to keep in the tower?
From what I understood, the Black Knight hung it on his axe, for he wished to stop fighting, as Shakar wished to enter his period of rest before his end. And who better to have it as a keepsake for its unique power? And also, the Black Knight knew how powerful it was. To let it go into any open hands, it's safe here. As he knew his friend would also cherish it as he would keep it as a keepsake for his friendship.
What does it mean to be Chakaran's friend when we've never been with him personally? Is it more or less...
What do you mean by personally?
Like, we've never seen the man alive, just manifestations.
Mm-hmm.
So is it more akin to just being allied to his...
As I said, if you were alive
Deals.
today, I'm sure he would count you as a friend.
Okay.
I don't really what...
I'm just...
Is Shakar just cringe?
Thanks. Where are you?
Is there any item in here that could help find the soul of a friend?
The heart.
The beating of the heart? The
I was
telltale
just,
heart?
no, I was just saying, a look in your heart.
Hmm.
What are you trying to get at exactly?
I was just trying to play with the idea of... Because the only thing I got to go on right now is the fact that he tripped up on Friend before.
Oh, he tripped up on a lot of things before.
Yeah. He
He
did.
let something slip earlier, but I mean, you get the sense that what he's saying now is, like I said, you didn't, just because you rolled low on insight doesn't mean necessarily what you said was wrong.
Right.
Like, things are changed. Everything has changed. His perspective is continuously changing. He has a few things that are constants, but
Okay.
you have more to work on this than you think. But you also haven't said the one thing that he's asked you to say. Like, you're working around the problem right now, but you're not asking him, you're not doing anything, you're not including him at all. And he's not like your antagonist.
Right.
He's always been helpful. You haven't voiced any concern publicly to him as to why you have yet had access. You've beaten around the bush. You haven't talked to him at all.
Okay.
So, with this part of the Chikern challenge,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any advice?
I think Korvac is the one most suitable to solve this one. And he looks and gives you a wink.
What is it?
Is it his gallbladder? I can get you it.
Let's do it.
I mean, what could you possibly mean by that? Why me?
For everything said and done up until this point in the journey through the tower, of course. Including your time before. I consider it all one for me. For I ceased existing when you weren't in the tower, and came back right as soon as you teleported in.
Okay.
Was it his personality or his strengths?
Both.
Both.
Mm.
Do I simply have to go?
Go.
He just
Up?
jumps.
Like, just...
You try to think about going up again and just nothing happens. Nothing is there yet, Master. Go
Okay.
back.
Okay. Well then, maybe you can help me out, Frederick. What am I not seeing? What's the question?
What is the question?
Am I Chikern's friend? Not that.
You seem rather hung up on that, but
Yeah.
you wish to go into the final layer of his home.
Yeah.
What has led up until this point?
What has led up to this point? Well,
Do you have it?
do I have it?
Do you?
The gall? The...
No. Well, yes. I think you might. But more than that. You mentioned it earlier. What it takes, maybe. Chikern had the thought that anyone could potentially be worthy to be the hero that he was. He didn't think it was his own personal right. He started at humble beginnings and worked his way up just as anyone else had. That's why he made these trials the way they are. Friendship, allies, power, hero, potential, rather than destruction. But that's not necessarily what, because I think, like I said, if he were alive, he would see you as friends. But we just haven't quite made it all the way yet. So with that, what you said earlier, do you have it? Well, history?
Yeah, thanks. Oh my god.
What'd you get?
Rolled a 2.
Can I roll history?
He's talking to him.
Oh, you have points of inspiration?
Thomas, you have something that you can do to help him. If you wish to burn it.
Wish?
No. You're 17.
Yeah, that's right. God damn it! I'm trapped in that fucking curse of logic.
What?
Yeah, My immediate response is the part of Wish that lets me let him re-roll.
I told you, bud. You gotta stop thinking top down,
Top down.
bottom up, bottom up, bottom up.
Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20. What the fuck did you get your dick hard so much about when he looked you right in the eye and you're like, oh, I caught something there, and you wrote it down?
Oh, faith. Jesus Christ.
We have to believe in Shakarn.
Believe in Chakern. You already do. You're here.
Believe in the promise, but we already do. We're here.
And also, you don't know what it is quite yet.
Well, not the exact
Do you
details.
have it? Just say the word.
Do I have faith?
Do you?
Have love.
I'm talking to Korvac.
I mean, I have faith that we'll come out of all of this alive and well, and that we'll make it through the end.
Good. That'll be important for this next part.
Okay.
Do you have faith?
I have faith in Maliki. I have faith in Jakern. What else could I have faith in? I
You
have
kinda
faith
start
in myself.
Well, that's good. That will also be very important in the next part.
Mm.
Do you have faith?
Is it like a secret second meaning for faith?
The woman in my pocket.
It is a type of flower.
Oh yes, you've collected the faith flower from earlier after you traded the handmaiden's handkerchief in for...
Mm.
No, do you have faith?
Yes.
And what is faith to you? It means something different for everyone. For the religious, it has an obvious meaning, but we all know the lords and the gods
Yeah.
and the deities that play it, ours. And then the powers of beings, of the Eternals. And then look at the power that my lord Chakern has discovered.
Mm.
Those people that you've met along the way that have bent and molded reality, created things that were unbeknownst, dominated their own weaknesses and come out stronger for it. How are they not gods in their own respect as well of the power they've achieved? So faith can mean many things to different people. But what does it mean to you?
Well, to me, I suppose it would mean faith that everything I do and everything I witness will end up for the good, and that we cannot lose to evil at this point.
And then everything will be okay.
Exactly.
Good. Show me.
Show you. Okay.
Show me.
I've
And he just gestures to the railing that is, and that right there has no railing at all.
Oh, okay. I was gonna try to go to the conservatory again, but this I can get. So a leap then.
A leap of faith
Okay.
that everything will be okay.
I'm gonna turn to Mac, and I'm going to take a. I imagine it's only like a couple feet in front of me, right?
Yeah, it's a step off, and then it goes down the whole passageway that you just slowly went up, which is a few hundred feet, and then past the other balcony that you were at, and then all the way down to kind of like the granite sidewalk around the tree that you were at the beginning.
I'm definitely giving Mac a nod and just taking. Are you doing something?
I have faith that you can do this, Korvac. Just take the inspiration.
Come on, man.
Just take the inspiration.
Come on, man. I know this can't end bad, so I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to jump, like, take those few steps and jump off the edge.
Alex just looks up and is like, alright, I need you to turn in your character sheet.
So you make the leap?
I actually don't have Featherfall right now, so yeah.
You fall.
Yeah.
You whiz past the doors that you saw earlier. It's no longer a safe glide. You're falling the whole time. At no point does Featherfall kick in. At no point does it ever appear like a safety net is ever going to come to your aid at all.
Okay.
You get closer to the ground. The trees no longer something off in the distance. It's something barreling towards you. As you're about to pass by the balcony that you had earned the right to access earlier, and pass by the first of the doors that you began your ascension through. Is this what he meant? A leap of faith. Will everything be okay?
I have to roll like a charisma save at this point.
No. Instead,
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to take, because you didn't give them to me earlier, 250 bludgeoning damage as you collide against the floor as I rolled 400 d4s. You guys didn't give them to me. I didn't need them.
Holy
Sorry,
shit.
100 d4s. I didn't roll 400.
250 damage.
250 bludgeoning damage as you plummet to the floor. But as soon as you... What?
71.
Did you make sure to rage while fall?
Yeah, right. But yes, continue.
As you stand up, you're like, oh, God! Ah! There was supposed to be a leap of faith. What actually happened? He went to go fall, and he started to. But instead, halfway down, he reversed and then started falling upwards in gravity. And then as he was going to collide into the atrium, or into the conservatorium, the hallway created itself, much like a stairway earlier. And now there are vines and flowers and many things, and it looks like a stairway up into this room that is created. It's like winding kind of spiral wood, and different, like each step has like a different type of wood that it was made out of. And they seem like solid bits of wood, not like planks or anything. And then they go up and wind in, and you see different sort of flowers just naturally glowing. This entire platform is almost completely changed. And as that sort of happened, as his body sort of collapsed against the barrier of the unprogressed area, and as it sort of got him created, he was sort of pressed through it. And you find yourself at the door, and you're still standing. You pulled yourself up from your perspective of the ground and stood up. You're now kind of standing at the door, and your body is sort of pressed against this barrier and was used to break through it. And you start healing again, like you normally did. And this is, like, see? He has faith. He wanted to die for his friends. And he could live through it. I told you he was the best pick.
What the fuck?
Good if I did that.
Would that have killed you, Master Mac?
Yes.
Would it have?
Yes.
The 250 would easily have killed him.
I don't know how many health he has.
I think it's like 100.
470.
I know it wasn't a lot. Like, you might have 253.
I'm a
What the fuck?
I am a halfling full caster bard. I don't get to
140.
be
Bards
fucking...
have D8 though, man. What the hell? Oh yeah, the last ones have been wizard. That's a D6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what gets you.
I'm sorry, bud.
Hey, he's got his strengths.
So I'm over here like taking like.
Like,
30.
you got like bonitis, and you're like...
God, this whole time I've been thinking that when I take like 30s and 40s and 50s and damage and around, and they take 1 or 2, I'm like, they're fine.
Yes.
No!
Why do you think the confusion when you tried tanking as a caster that one time? Like, it's fine. I can take damage. Oh no!
No, I will protect you.
Basically.
Like, I'm the barbarian. Why would you protect me?
I just
I'm
want-
used to playing a role.
I just meant to give you advantage.
So you're walking away into the conservatorium. It's warm. It's sort of like you've walked into a rainforest. It's kind of got that mist occasionally. There's that sort of like small mist rain that comes up, like that sort of Publix vegetable spray. Like a light. There's many fruits, there's many wild flowers, there's many wild plants. Certain pockets have different terrains and feels, but nothing that has like a wild shift. It's all smooth transitions. And there's a lot to be found here.
Okay.
Anything fun?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Can't believe I just cannonballed right into a concrete floor effectively.
It was a leap of faith.
23.
You look around, much like there were, like, earlier, there was, like, a tree with iridescent flowers, like, there's, like, a giant, massive jungle tree in the middle of this that seems to be, like, the brace for the floor above. It has, like, vines on it that are, like, the roots of some trees, you know, and massively wide, and off of that, like, ecosystems have grown of their own moss and sort of birds and insects. You see... Oh, hold on. It's not that cool. You also see vines growing up, other plants that you feel like never would have existed in the same area. As they just exist in perfect blends of climates that would never exist outside of this room. So you have like lovely, lush, tempered grapes on like a deep fucking temperate rainforest fruit tree. You have blendings of flavors and flowers. The room is both vibrant and lush green. And the more you walk through it, the more you feel different breezes and feel different sort of warmths. There isn't any sort of exotic fruit that you might think you might not find here, and you feel like the more you walk in this room, it is far more massive than the expanse of the tower should allow for. He loved this place. He loved collecting fruits. He loved collecting taste. He loved collecting horticultural knowledge. He was a big fan of flowers as well.
Is that right?
What was his favorite flower?
Like I said earlier, it was not a man for favorites. But, I mean, everyone has a selection of things that they enjoy. I'm sure that can be discovered around here.
Are there any flowers I can see that seem more prominent or maybe get more special attention? Maybe
Make a separate investigation check. Hold on, didn't you give up your glasses?
we'd said that because I became
Oh, yeah.
perfect. Yeah, no. 21.
You see a few places. There's an accoutrement of flowers that pop up more often in the grounds than others. Sometimes they're bunched together, sometimes they're just dabbled in with other things. But there are what appears to be certain blends of flowers. Fruits as well, but those seem to be sort of just, you know, I'm just walking around like I want a lychee, you know, like, oh, here's one. Certain peppers and things, but that seems to be more according to taste. But the flowers, those are purely decorational. So that would be a lot more of a less pragmatic, but more just artistic choice. And those ones do seem to jump a little bit more.
Are there any flower breeds that specifically stick out?
I don't know the names of them particularly, nor do you, as you've never seen them before, and they're all fantasy make-believe. But they all have... like, one of them sort of is reminiscent of a... what is it called?
They're all poisonous.
There's like one that's reminiscent of like a multicolored hibiscus. There's one that sort of looks like it might have a sort of sunflower look in a world where sun was rather hard to find. So it was like tinier and smaller with wider leaves that were just bigger and trying to catch water. It seems to be like it was hiding in the bottom of a rather dense forest. There's some sort of maybe like a modified rose is what you could say, but warped beyond any sort of recognition. These are all just terms that kind of make sense to you. Like, how do you describe a flower you've never seen without descriptions of other flowers? Some of them are open more like so that the rose looks like a lily, almost like it's sort of half between one and another, or that it's evolving into something new. And then there's there's one that just looks like a white rose that seems fuller and wider and sort of opens up more like this. And it has very thick, vibrant, like leaves across it, so that the leaves almost look like flower petals themselves.
Would it be rude of me if I was to pick one of these flowers?
Oh, no, pick at your heart's content. Everything in here is very vibrant, so they will grow back rather quickly.
So, the flower that was the symbol to Basco's family.
The Asterian bell.
Yeah.
There was not an Asterian bell here.
There's no Asterian bell here. You could find anything else, but not the Asterian bell.
The Asterian bell is connected to the family quite literally.
Oh.
Their power and what they do to the Evertree affects the Asterian bell, which is why it grew in his garden, because he wanted it to grow in his garden.
Mm-hmm.
That was the magic of this sort of Asterian bell. It grew in Theruel and in there, because those seem like wildly diverse places, like Theruel, lush jungle, sort of a dense forest environment, versus the cold of the north where, Selene is. But they grow both places because they're both deeply connected to not only the Evertree, but the Asterian family.
So there's no way to put one in here, maybe?
It's just part of their legacy and
Oh,
not his.
this is a weed.
You do find there's like a secret, with one of your high investigations, there is a secret pocket of some dense kush.
I'd take some of that.
Go ahead and give me an animal handling. Sorry.
Animal handling.
What
I'm
kind
giving
of...
away too much! Go ahead and give me a nature check. Or survival.
23.
23. I will say, you get just 10 grams of Chakern Kush, we'll call it. I love that Josh is like, every fucking place we go, find weed. I fucking hate these goddamn stoner assholes.
Is it an indica? Is it a sativa? or
You'll
is it-
find out when you smoke it. We'll deal with that later. But right now, you guys have yet to discover one thing. I've described a lot, but what haven't I described?
There's no animals here.
Well, there are. I've said that. There's birds. There's
Oh,
bugs. Occasionally you'll see a little scamper of something on the ground. Maybe some sort of, maybe a primate. Maybe a ground rodent. Maybe
Fungus, mushrooms.
There's of course some mushrooms. There's some wild mushrooms. Some cool some blue bioluminescent ones. There's some purple bioluminescent ones.
People.
You're sort of walking through like a fantasy land. Like, oh, this is the Na'vi land. Like everything glows here. Like this is Dr. Seuss's Wonderland. Like there's no way to describe just any one area because every area is different and vibrant. Like one area you're just walking through vines of all different colors and like, oh, sometimes they have thorns and oh, sometimes they have very delicious fruits on them. And then you go through and now you're in like banana trees mixed with like coffee trees. And the bananas taste exactly like coffee ice cream. Like, there's much to be discovered here.
So there's animals and plants, and he's collecting things, but no like monsters or sentient beings.
Well, there's Frederick.
Other than Frederick.
From what you can tell, there's nothing intelligent as like a humanoid. And no, there isn't like a Minotaur in here protecting or it or anything.
Okay.
Keep going. I'm just realizing this is slightly more intense than I'd.
Is there any form of civilization at all, or is it just all like other paths, or is it just?
There are places on the ground when you know that are designed in the paths because the earth is meant that way. Like the moss is more beaten. There's cobblestone in some area. It's designed to be walked. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're just freely roaming.
Is there water anywheres?
Yes. Occasionally there's a stream. Occasionally there's a waterfall.
Okay. And
Well, what haven't I described to you?
The sky.
Sometimes you look up and sometimes it's night. Sometimes it's day. Sometimes it's raining, like I said.
It's warm.
Roll intelligence saving throws.
Hell yeah! Saving throw.
It's you know how I do. Like sometimes it's like, hey, the world is happening to you. There's that sort of aha moment where you're like, wait a minute.
I actually got a really good roll. I have no modifier in intelligence. So it's 22.
I'll burn a lucky roll.
I mean, come on.
17.
I still got 22.
I know. It's just like, why'd you waste that?
I could have gotten a nat 20.
We didn't need it. I was about to tell him exactly what the answer was. I haven't described the exit, have I? Or where the exit should be.
Nope, you sure haven't.
And as soon as this dawns on you, you look back and you're for certain there's no way you can get back to the entrance.
Ooh boy, we can end the campaign right here.
TPK in the jungle, baby! Yeah.
Wouldn't be a TPK, we just live here forever.
On what?
On the mushrooms.
On bugs?
The mushrooms.
And then the random fucking stream. Oh God, please, what have we done to ourselves?
I'll just cut off.
Frederick, please just tell us how to get out!
I'll just
You
cut
have to
off.
solve the riddle!
We'll just cut off chunks of your flesh, and then we can drive them like these.
I have to eat to get those back.
You will. You'll eat these. Infinite health.
Infinite health.
Horvax skewers.
Oh, by the way, it's been like at least 5 minutes.
Okay.
I have faith that we won't be
In
lost.
regards to your health.
Oh, fuck yeah. 250 health? No problem.
That's why he was like, you're probably the best fit for this challenge. I just love the concept. I was like, it's going to be a leap of faith. Because it's just like, how great would it be? Like, at any point, he's going to tell me I teleport to the top and everything was fine. Nope, it's just like, imagine, it's a leap of faith. Oh, why would you let me do that? What would a leap of faith be without it hurting at the end? But I had faith that you'd be alright.
God. Please tell me if we go back down, there's just a blood splatter.
I had huge faith that all 4s weren't going to be rolled and killed you.
Yeah.
So, Frederick, we appear to be lost.
Are you? Who doesn't like a little stroll lost through the woods, my lord? I'm sorry, master.
Is this like a wanderlust thing? We're not lost. We're just the spirit
Maybe.
of adventure.
Maybe. Yes. Quite. Maybe a survival thing. At this point, depends on how lost you've become, master.
Did Chakern like camping?
Couldn't one say that camping and adventuring are 2 sides of the same coin? Exploration, camping, survival.
Is this like a freedom thing?
What do you mean, what is a freedom thing, master?
Did he enjoy the freedom of nature?
What exactly is it that you really wish to ask?
How do I not be lost anymore?
Well, how does one survive in the woods?
Normally,
I
you
teleport?
use... Oh, well, he might teleport, but you use the nature to find your direction.
Oh, I think you'll find that your magic is no good here.
So, but we're also not in a
fully
Oh, I'm
natural
sorry. I am
location.
so sorry. No, your healing would not have worked. No,
Oh fuck!
no magic works here.
All right.
May I make a nature check on my understanding of forests and like?
Sure, go ahead. What exactly are you looking for from this?
If I was stuck in the woods somewhere lost, how would I get myself out using the knowledge of, you know, how forest ecosystems work?
Okay. Sure. With your folk hero stuff, I'll give you advantage on that too.
15.
31.
Was it 15? This is 15 still the best?
Yeah.
I will say this. There's ways that you could tell, and you know that there's ways that you could tell. But in a place where the ecosystem changes as you walk, the blending of it unnaturally makes it impossible. Because where one, you'd be like, oh, you want to follow this way, or look for this sort of blending in the trees. Now you hit this, and you're like, well, that's not normally what's supposed to be here, and now the rules change. This is a room that's meant to be unlimited until it is not.
It isn't like a case where the floor is just moving underneath us. It's still.
It's like sort of
We
what he
still
said
have-
earlier, like Magnificent Mansion sort of magic. But better, because it's Chikern.
Are there any tall towers? Tall trees?
There's a lot. Like I mentioned earlier that there was sort of like a tree that seemed like it was supporting the roll underneath, because it sometimes like seems like there's structure above you. Sometimes it seems like you're under a tree. Sometimes it seems like you're under a night sky. It's magic. It's constantly ever changing.